So here we are on Dreammaker, back at Pillings Lock Marina on a grey December day, and we thought it would be nice to review the highlights of our summer's cruising and share them with you. Judith has our logbook that we've been keeping all summer just to jog our memories, and we thought we'd go through the logbook and remember the highlights of the 2022 cruise. So, when did we start, Judith?
Well, we set off on the 28th of April 2022 from Pillings Lock, and we went to Atherstone.
That was alright, wasn't it? Yeah. The Soar's a lovely river.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I'm not sure that there's any particular highlights.
Well, we had Holly and Finley.
That of course was a
Finley
highlight.
was a bit lively, running up and down the boat and trying to
jump in
and whatever. So that was.
Yeah. I think the highlight of that first cruise was Leicester. Everyone said, "Oh, you mustn't moor in Leicester. It's rough. It's horrible." Of course, it's my adopted hometown and Judith's hometown, so we've got a soft spot for it. But I think the mooring in Leicester at Friars Mill was just stunning.
Yeah, we were there on the 29th.
And the ability to just walk into town and have a look round the bits that, you know, it's funny that you never look round your hometown. So we became tourists in Leicester, which was great. And 99p a pint doom bar.
Yeah. And then it was a beautiful evening.
Yeah, it was a lovely evening, yeah.
It was so quiet and peaceful. A little bit of traffic, I suppose, but mostly it was just the waterfowl swimming about, the swans and geese. Yeah, it was lovely, wasn't it?
And it was all right coming out of Leicester. It wasn't stunningly beautiful, but it's interesting. I always think it's interesting going through a city on the water. And we had to get to Kilby Bridge, so that was a busy day.
Yeah. It was nice going along the mile and then going by the King Power Stadium and, you know, through all the sort of outskirts of Leicester.
That was nice.
And we had a visit from Baz and Louise and cooked our first meal on the boat.
Yeah. Because
there was no available food at the pub. So yeah, we had made a nice chilli on the boat, didn't we?
That was all right, yeah.
That's great.
And Sadie joined us
the next day, yeah.
And that was nice
we went to Wistow.
Yeah, that was a lovely mooring in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Views over the fields.
Just slightly on a hill, wasn't it?
That was lovely.
See down to the church and everything. The cows came to see us in the morning.
And then it was Foxton. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't not say that Foxton's one highlight of any cruise. But I liked it when everyone had gone home. And
because when we got there, it was really, really busy. It was a bank holiday.
Yeah, lots of people,
then
day trippers.
For a meal, didn't we, with Sue and Ian?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, after everybody had gone, it was just...
place just goes completely quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, nice and peaceful.
Was it that night that we sat and had a pint outside the other pub? What's the other pub called?
It might have been the...
or looking out over the basin there. Or that might have been another night, because we spent quite a few nights in Foxton.
Yeah, we spent a few nights in Foxton.
On and off.
Yeah.
Because we went down to Market Harbour and back, didn't we? And that was a beautiful little cruise down to Market Harbour.
We went down there with Steve and Dee and that meal at the basin. What's it called, the basin?
Well,
Waterfront, I think it's called.
Yeah. Then came back with Dave and Maz.
And Denise, yeah.
Denise, yeah.
Yeah, and the weather was lovely then, wasn't it? It was beautiful weather.
Yeah. And it's spring, so everything was... And then we went up the locks, which of course has to be a highlight, doing Foxton locks. And so that was all great. In fact, the Leicester line is probably one of the canal system's undiscovered beauties. Anyone who hasn't done the Leicester line of the Grand Union should do it, because it's absolutely beautiful and not that busy, really.
No. Well, Sue and Pete came, didn't they, briefly?
Oh yeah, Sue and Pete came and visited, and also we saw Janet and Ian on their trip round the Leicestershire Ring.
Yeah.
We haven't seen them for years, had we?
No.
No. And then off to Welford.
Yeah.
And again, that was another little gem. Going down that tiny little arm, really narrow, wasn't it?
Quite narrow and twisty.
Yeah. But well worth it when you got to the end.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Pub there was nice as well.
It was, yeah.
Wharf Inn.
Wharf Inn, that was
We
nice.
had a lovely meal there, didn't we?
Oh yeah, that fabulous walk at Welford, that was a
Yeah.
lovely walk. Beautiful countryside round there.
Yeah.
And then it was the middle of nowhere and it was raining, which
Yeah.
in itself was lovely, wasn't it? You can sort of get all cosy and you hear the rain
Yeah.
pitter-pattering on the roof.
We still did a walk, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we still did a walk. Of course we still did a walk. Bit of rain doesn't stop us. But yeah, it was lovely, that was, wasn't it? And then it was off to Yelvertoft, I think, after that,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah. And you saw that bullfinch, didn't we?
We went for a walk into Yelvertoft village.
Yeah.
And
Saw
yeah,
that
we
bullfinch
saw,
just sitting in the tree there.
yeah, and a woodpecker.
And a woodpecker.
So, yeah.
Did I video the woodpecker?
Went too quickly, I think.
Well, folks, we did see a woodpecker, but
Yeah.
there's no video of it.
No.
You have to just imagine that.
Yeah.
Yes, it was lovely, that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was a lovely marina,
Yeah,
the
it's a
Yelvertoft
lovely
marina.
marina.
And of course, famous as where Cruising the Cut started. So,
Yeah.
and then
And then Lewis came and we
yes, took us down in his
cruised
van,
down
didn't
to-
he?
yeah.
Went down to Crick.
down to Crick, yeah.
That was it was good because he did the steering. So
Yeah.
it was a very relaxing
Had
cruise
a
from my
rest.
point of view. And
Then we walked back over to the marina.
Crack Hill.
That was lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, another gorgeous walk. The countryside around there is just stunning. But my favourite walk of that particular bit was the next day.
Yeah.
Was that when we went down to
Went
just
Welton Haven. it was
just
called.
before Norton
Yeah.
Junction,
Yeah.
and that walk over the motorway and through the land of the giant windmills.
Railway, wasn't it, stuff?
Yeah, I like that way. You're sort of walking in the sort of sidelines of normal life. So there we were walking along.
Yeah.
All those people rushing along in their cars and their trains and stuff, and that's where it really reminds you that you've found an alternative way of life, because you can see everyone else's busy life around you but you're not part of it, which I thought was great.
Yeah. It was lovely.
And then it was Braunston Tunnel.
Yeah. God, yeah, with all those boats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Braunston was lovely, but I think possibly because I was expecting so much of Braunston.
Oh, we've been to Braunston before.
Yeah, I
though.
suppose so. It's sort of slightly disappointed. But it was, obviously it's a very important canal town, but slightly disappointed.
Yeah, no, you had a nice interaction with the man in the
Oh, in the fender
Fender
shop.
shop.
Yeah, we had a good old chat, didn't we? And he
and
showed me ropes
gave you the,
and
showed you
various
how to
knots
fix
and splicing
things,
techniques,
splicing
so that was
things,
handy.
Yeah. And then we had that extension. We got that
Yeah.
extension for the rear fender,
Which we
didn't
still have. I've only had to replace it 3 times so far. It's fallen off.
But
yeah.
no, it was okay.
Yeah, and then we had that nice meal in the pub, which gave us food poisoning or something did.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't that. I felt ill when I got there, I think. So I took
Yeah.
some bug back with us to Braunston, I
Right.
think. So then that weekend we just... I didn't
Did put
feel
a bit
very
of a
well.
damper on it, didn't it, that weekend? Although again, Hill Morton Locks,
We managed to do the locks and
Yeah.
a little walk, didn't we?
bit of shopping in Rugby.
Yeah.
The most amazing part of that was the bit I didn't film because Judith wasn't feeling very well, so I said I'd go and find a chemist in this local, what I thought was village.
Moulton or Holton?
Holton, I think it was, a Houghton or something. And I walked up this hill, and it was like being in the countryside, and then as I went over the crest of the hill, I saw the whole of the Daventry, Durft 3 or Durft 2,
yeah.
what was that? I don't know what that stands for. Daventry Interrail Transfer or something.
Yeah.
Spread out beneath me, and then I was into this brand new town with the brand new co-op and brand new pub, and they built this whole new town presumably to service all the warehouses, etc. in Durft. I was very proudly told that it was the newest co-op in the country when I went into the co-op to try and find some medicine for Judith. So that was quite interesting, although not scenic, but it was interesting to walk from the countryside into the middle of some industrial sort of powerhouse. By the way, I do have a cold, if you haven't noticed.
Cough and a cough.
And a cough. Anyway,
Hopefully
we'll soldier on.
Right, so then...
So we ended up at Newbold. No,
Newbold.
at Brinklow Marina, weren't we? The Marina of Dreams.
Newbold and then to Brinklow.
Yeah. Newbold.
A little walk because we found that old tunnel.
Yeah, we did. That was interesting, wasn't it?
Finding
that old tunnel.
Newbold.
Yeah. And then next time we went from Brinklow
To Stretton.
Stretton. Worst mooring of the tour, Stretton. Don't moor in Stretton unless you're forced to.
We don't remember it being like that before when we've moored.
Maybe there are some slightly better ones, but
moor a mile from the...
Yeah, there's even though they're visitor moorings, there's this sort of shallow, shelving, rocky towpath. So you really do moor 2 or 3 feet from the towpath.
And then the trains are right opposite.
The train's right opposite, yeah. So between the grinding of the boat on the rocks and the trains coming past, didn't have the best night of the
Sleep.
No. But it got better. So where did you go
that
from
was
Stretton?
when the shower pump stopped working.
Ah, is that when the shower pump stopped working? Yeah. So we were smelly as well, yeah.
Then we went to Hawkesbury Junction.
I like Hawkesbury Junction. I mean, okay, it's not that pretty, but it's got that real busy, canal-y sort of feel about it.
Oh, it was lovely. There was always boats going by, and it was...
And that's when you do a 360, you turn back on yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
You come out of the Oxford and you have to go... Yeah, it is 360, because you basically go right back on yourself, don't you? So you're going in the opposite direction. But that was achieved. So... and that's when we decided to go up the Ashby, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
the next day, that was the 8th of June, the next day, and then we turned right into the Ashby.
And that's where we did that 3-mile walk to Screwfix.
And we got to Bulkington. Yeah.
Bulkington, yeah.
Yeah, we went to Screwfix, didn't we, to get the part for the...
to get a wire, to fix it temporarily. And again, you see, I don't suppose I'd have chosen to walk to Screwfix.
No, because a lot of it was down roads, wasn't
Busy
it?
roads, dodging
cars,
trucks and lorries, But something nice about having a pint on the side of a sort of, out of town retail park. It was sort of different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at least we could have a shower.
Yeah, you sort of temporarily fixed it.
Temporary fix, yeah.
And the mooring at Bulkington was lovely because there was a song thrush that just sat there in the tree, just singing and singing and singing all evening, and it was a nice evening, and we sat outside.
Yeah, it was a nice mooring, even though it was sort of
chatting to some of the boat as well.
Classic example of the canal, because when you came off the canal, you were in a fairly run-down sort of suburban area, weren't you? But as soon as you got on the canal, it felt totally different.
The next day we cruised up to Hinckley, stopped opposite the Marina pub, did some shopping.
Aldi
shopping,
McDonald's, you had a McFlurry.
Yep, and then met Denise and had a meal in the Marina, so that was nice.
Surprisingly good meal, despite my doubts.
Yeah, it was a nice meal.
I mean, you get, it is what it says on the tin, but it's perfectly decent food.
Yeah. And then the next day, my birthday, Glynis and Stuart came. Yeah,
and we didn't video that trip up from Stoke Golding up to Snareston because we knew we were going to video it coming back.
And it was really, really windy.
It was very windy.
Obviously we wanted to chat to Glynis and Stuart and, just...
And that's the problem. Again, the Ashby is shallow. In fact, 2 or 3 weeks after we were up it became essentially non-navigable with the water levels and the drought. But when you've got a shallow canal, a strong wind, it's very difficult to navigate the boat because you haven't got very much water under the keel, so it's actually, you don't get that much control of the boat. So it was a bit challenging, wasn't it? But we managed. Yeah. Where did we go from
then
Market Bosworth? What, direct?
Yeah.
Oh. How long did that take then?
3.5 hours.
Oh, well, there we are, you see.
Ish.
That's a big cruise for us, 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, we must have been exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went for... That's when we went and explored the bit of the canal that's not been
Yes.
opened yet, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Towards Measham.
Yeah, but we didn't walk as far as Measham because it was
Well, it
hot,
sort of
I think,
petered out,
or-
didn't it? It petered out.
Yeah.
But I put some photos of that at the beginning of the video of us coming back from Snareston.
Yeah.
Through that tiny little Snareston tunnel with a bend in the middle.
So then we went to Shackerston, from Snareston to Shackerston. The next cruise was. It was really hot.
Yeah.
And then we walked back over the fields.
What, from Snareston to Shackerston? Yes, we did. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a nice walk. Because that's when we decided to try and do what do I call it? Car
We had
shuttle.
car leapfrog.
Car leapfrog, yeah.
Yeah, because
We're never going to do that again.
we came back in
The
the
a
car.
lot of boaters do it, but it didn't suit us.
But at Shackerston, it was lovely because we got there and it was just gorgeous, the weather.
Fantastic.
We went and met Helen and Malk in the pub.
Yeah, that was lovely. Pizza
Had
and beer.
Pizza. Oh, that was lovely. And then the next day we woke up and it was just chucking it down. It was horrible. Really horrible. And that's when Holly and Finley will come in and we went on the railway.
Finally,
So,
after an awful lot of
so-
standing around.
Yeah, so, but we did get on the train. And
Did
it was
in the
good.
end, yeah.
Had a good time on the train.
And then it
So,
was,
we went to Shenton.
yeah. And then we got the train again, didn't we?
We moored all on our own by the
Ambien Wood.
Ambien Wood.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and then we got the train back. Yeah,
I think we're the only people on the train that were actually using it for its intended purpose, which was to travel from A to B.
Yeah.
The
But
guard
that was really
the guard was completely flummoxed by the fact that we wanted a single. Yeah. Yeah, and then we had Ambien Wood to ourselves, didn't we?
Yeah.
At night, all the people had gone, and it was just us and the ghosts. Yeah. And was the next day back at Hinckley?
Back at Stoke Golding.
Stoke Golding, that's it, because we
Yeah, we
wanted to.
stopped there again.
Vicky and Ian, but they weren't in, were they?
No. And we had a stunning walk.
Yes,
back
it was
to the
stunning,
car.
that walk back.
Just
That
fabulous.
was
Fabulous.
a real high point. Shenton's such a beautiful place,
Yeah.
isn't it? Lovely village.
Oh, gorgeous! The buildings and the pool and the grounds, everything was just beautiful, wasn't it? And it helped because it was a really nice day.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we went to back to Hinckley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was sort of routine from there, wasn't it? We went
Yeah.
from Hinckley, we stopped
And
back
back
at
to Bulkington, yeah,
and
it was
then
nice.
then round to Springwood Haven. And Springwood Haven was a fantastic marina, I thought. Really, it was small. The people there were really friendly. We wanted some work done to the boat, and we'd asked various people, and they, ummed and ahed, but this guy just got straight on with it and did exactly what we wanted, did a really good job. It was just great.
Yeah.
Really, really nice. I made a spectacular entrance. I completely misjudged the entrance and whacked the side quite hard, didn't I? Which got everyone's attention.
Well, the trouble was I wasn't looking. I was looking at this couple who had got this gorgeous little girl, and I was sort of waving at her, not looking. And Pete just didn't see the edge, did you?
Well, it was a bit sticking out,
really
wasn't it?
awkward,
Sticking out. I mean, if I'd had some warning, I could have gone into reverse and not whacked it as hard as.
I did shout. I remember I did shout, but it
yeah.
was too late by then.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Boats don't stop on a sixpence, do they?
No.
No. But that was great. That was, and in fact, I think that was the next few days, because for various reasons we couldn't be on the boat all the time. We had various things to do. We went to that festival, didn't we? And so we weren't at the boat that often. We were sort of shuttling backwards and forwards. So we stayed around the Harts Hill area.
But you stayed on your own at Springwood Haven.
I stayed on my own at
Springwood.
Springwood, yeah, that was nice. Me and about 30 rabbits.
Yeah.
But then, around Harts Hill Hayes and stuff, again, absolutely lovely.
But you fixed the shower pump at Springwood Haven.
I did fix
as
the
well.
shower pump at Springwood Haven. That's one of the things I did, yeah.
Denise came again and Simon and the girls came.
Yeah.
We managed to walk.
Yeah.
Took loads of duck food with us. Didn't see any ducks.
No, not a single duck.
Not a single duck.
So that was great, that was.
Yeah, and it was lovely there. It was nice. We had that lovely walk into Hartshill Haze.
Yeah, yeah, in the
One
evening. Yeah, that was lovely.
Because it was too hot to walk in the day, really. And it was
that was lovely.
Gorgeous, because you're really high up there and you can see all over the
Warwickshire countryside.
Yeah.
And it was just nice to almost feel, to get to know an area, so you felt you sort of almost lived there for a bit.
Yeah.
And the same with Atherstone, really, because we moored up at Atherstone for quite a while, didn't we?
Yeah, but we had to. It was a bit awkward because they were having a market, weren't they? So we had to get down the locks.
Through and down the locks, yeah, before the market.
This market and whatever.
But that was a nice
But
mooring.
it was lovely down, down at the bottom of the locks.
Yeah.
Quite near Atherstone. And Atherstone itself's quite a nice place.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll probably finish part 1 of the highlights in Atherstone.
Do you think so?
Well, how long have we been talking for?
I don't know. Quite a while. 25 minutes probably.
Hope you've enjoyed highlights part 1, and we'll see you for highlights part 2 next week. So do like and subscribe this channel if you want to hear more, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.